good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. This is episode 51 of the Double Cross Anime Podcast. We almost got the spring 2019 First Impressions episode to line up with episode 50. We were one off. But that's what we're doing this week regardless. We've got 10 shows lined up. We're going to talk about them in alphabetical order. I would say that these are probably, with maybe, a couple exceptions, these are like the cream of the crop of the season. Mario and I did the usual thing. We each picked 10 that we thought were interesting, and we took the top 5 from each of our lists. And that's about it, I guess. Any other notes on the format before we start, Mario?
Not on the format note, but on the season in general. So I just want you to have like your general impression on the season so far.
There are 2 really good shows airing, which to me means it's a good season.
All right.
Like last season, it was Mob
right.
and Kaguya. That's fine. I'm happy with that. But I think that these 2 are probably going to eclipse those 2. I mean, that's really ridiculous for me to say that because it's only been 1 episode for each of them. But they're from 2 creators who I really like, and that's reason enough for me to be optimistic.
Yep. All right. So in fact, we're gonna talk about one of these shows alphabetically now. So we're gonna get to that now. So the first one of our 10 shows will be Caron Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one is from. Go ahead.
A show directed by Watanabe.
Right. He of Bebop and Champloo fame, among others.
Yep. Alright, I have seen like all of his series before, except for Space Dandy, which he was a producer, not a director.
Yeah, he kind of oversaw that project and handed off individual episodes to other teams. That was a very unique anime series, kind of like an anthology, almost.
Yep. And I must say that he also one of my favorite directors. Not like my top 2 favorite, which is the other one on the list that we're gonna talk about. But I really appreciate his style. He always has like a very dynamic animations, attention to detail, especially for the soundtrack, the music, which is important for Caron Tuesday.
Yeah,
a show about music, basically, as the titular characters meet up and form a band.
Yeah, this show's kind of comparable to Kids on the Slope, the central relationship between the 2 male characters who meet up and form a band, kind of.
Yep. In a futuristic sci-fi setting, note.
Yeah, this one's sci-fi, and then Kids on the Slope was the polar opposite. It was a period piece set during the 60s, I guess. American-occupied Japan, like after World War II.
That's right.
I didn't realize that American occupation stretched that far. Because World War II ended in 1945, if I remember correctly.
I think it's like in the 1950s or maybe 60. I'm not really sure.
It could be late 50s because the 1959 was the year when a lot of those really great jazz records released, like all one after another. And I'm pretty sure they do some covers from some of those records. So it's definitely 1959.
Right.
Whether it goes past that, I don't know, because there are some time skips. But anyway, let's talk about Caroline Tuesday.
All right, Caroline Tuesday. I really like the settings.
Yeah, same here.
I don't feel that enjoy towards the characters yet. They are fine. They have like a great design.
Yeah, definitely.
They are a bit too quick for me when they get together and like already form a special relationship right at the end of the first episodes.
Yes,
too quick.
I agree. Thinking, I mean, it's not fair to compare the show to Cowboy Bebop, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
All right.
It takes a few episodes before the crew of the Bebop starts to gel. Like Faye, for
That's
example, isn't introduced until the third episode, and I don't think she officially joins until
five or
probably the
six.
fifth. Yeah.
Yep. And
It would
even
have
then, she just like just go on and off. She just very casually
right. And
within the team.
the thing about Bebop is that it's the cast are mostly adults. So they're kind
Right.
of set in their ways, and they're hesitant to form new relationships and friendships because they're all very guarded. And in
Mm-hmm.
Carol and Tuesday, we have two teenagers who have like stars in their eyes and who want to be big. They want to be like they want to change the
Yep.
world with their song.
Yep.
So it kind of makes sense that they get together a little bit more quickly. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, as audience members, having this TV comes out in installments, so having this happen after only one installment feels a little hurried.
Yep. I would definitely agree on that. Um, well, let's talk about the music. Do you like the music that they perform?
I am not really big into pop music. I don't hold anything
Like,
against it. Like when new pop music comes out, like for example, Billie Eilish.
mm-hmm,
Have you
mm-hmm.
heard about her? She's like a
Not
big.
really.
Oh, okay. She's like a big pop phenom right now. I think she's based in
Right.
America, and she's actually 17 years old, so she's the same age as these characters.
Right.
But she's like been getting tons and tons of like media coverage and radio play and stuff recently, and so I was
Mm-hmm.
willing to sample her new album, and I kind of like it. It's kind of
Yep.
quirky and daring. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
against pop music in general, but for this one, like the melody that they create when they're doing their little jam session near the end is really not that
Mm-hmm.
sticky or memorable for me. And
Right.
also the English lyrics feel like they're written by a
Mm-hmm.
Japanese person because
All
they're
right.
very
Uh,
repetitive and simple and don't like use the language in it to its full potential.
mm, all right. Maybe just because this is supposed to be their first song together, so it's supposed to be kind of choppy, kind of not well polished.
Well,
So.
they do create that mood with the jam session. Like they kind of at near the end, they kind of stop and start. They don't just break into
Mhm.
song like it's a musical number.
Right. Right. Right.
So there is that feeling of them both trying to get a sense of the other one's rhythm, like their tempo,
Yeah.
which
Get
is
in
nice.
sync.
Yeah.
Yep.
But as far as the lyrics go, like there's the one little refrain in the song, "Can you hear my? Can you hear my? Can you hear my?" Or
Mhm.
is it here? I don't know what the verb is, but they say like, "Can you feel my? Can you feel my? Can you feel my tears? They won't dry." Like just the
Mhm.
the use of that repeated phrase over and over. It's only done to match the meter, and that's a weakness of a lot of pop music actually, is that the
Mhm.
lyrics only exist to match the beat, the meter of the song, which is what gets ingrained in people's heads.
Mhm.
So I think that was an issue with the song that they were working out in that session near the end.
Yep. We have to take note that his favorite composers, what's her name? Kano Yako?
Yoko Kanno.
Yoko Kano, thank you. Um, isn't the one who composed it, this series. And I don't know. I think because I have watched Terror Operations, and we don't need to talk about Cowboy Bebop. That's just a classic right now. Even in Terror in Resonance or Kid on the Slope, she actually went to an extreme in order to make the music that like stay within their their settings. So if have like the feel of the settings, the time, they have the feel of the time, and it's actually extreme because I remember many of the songs from Terror of Resonance in particular is really um, not very easy listening.
Yeah, well, that show is not very easy watching.
Not in a good way.
No, when five. Well, we don't need to talk about that, but that
All
show
right.
ends up being a little bit of a roller coaster, a little bit too much of a roller coaster in the second half, I think.
right. I think I get what you mean. So I actually appreciate that this series have like a more pop song, a more like simple compose, like the end of the first episodes, and more popular songs. I think I kind of see that Watanabe go to like all the extreme in this series.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to explore a new way to tell a story about
Territory.
music, and with
Yep.
that comes
Mm,
a genre shift because he's done jazz, he's done hip hop. There's always been
mm,
some rock influence in a
right.
lot of his work because he does kind of have like a little bit of a punk auteur sensibility to him.
Yep.
And then there was a bit of electronic music in Zankyo no Terror, so
Mm,
now we're
mm,
on to pop. Yeah, and I think it's cool that he's not content to just make the same show over and over.
yep. That's I agree. How do you feel though about the narrations? You remember that the narration already said that they're gonna be. Is that like the guy who was drunk in
Yes,
the
I
bar?
think so. The record
It
producer.
Yeah, it's the narrator, and he actually like inform us that they're gonna be very famous in the future, and
Yeah,
it is the start of their relationship.
yeah, and then he says, "Wait, really?" At the end, he says they're going to be big. They're going to change the world. Wait, really?
All right,
Uh,
I don't trust that.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think the narration is fine, especially given that the story has thrown these two characters together so quickly,
Hmm.
and given them this sense of purpose and destiny. Like there's going to be this 7 minutes where they change the world, as alluded to at the very start of the episode.
Hmm.
Probably some live performance or something. If
Right.
that's the goal, we know that that's coming and we're going to build up to it. Then the narration is fine. Honestly, I think it might even disappear starting with the second episode.
I hope it disappeared out. It does its job in the first in this first episodes. I don't know if it can be that successful in later episodes.
I would also like to see it go. But if we just get
Mm,
like one, a couple sentences near the start and a couple sentences near the end of every episode, I think that's
yep.
okay. Especially because the record producer is going to start taking a larger and larger role in the actual
Right.
story as we move on.
Yep. How about the character themselves? Do you like them? You feel them like good
They're
protagonists?
they're just types, you know.
Yep.
They're
All
just
right.
types. One is the rich girl who runs away from home, and the other one is like the street smart orphan girl.
Mm,
They're meant to, even their designs. One is blue, one is red.
mm,
They're meant
mm.
to be contrasted and compared.
Yep.
They really haven't distinguished themselves yet, but that's okay.
All
Like
right.
it would be nice if they were a little stronger, but because this is an entirely fabricated setting on Mars and stuff,
Yep.
we have
Mm,
to first we have to well, I don't know. It's every director's choice, like what they prioritize in the first episode. But Watanabe had to lay a whole bunch of groundwork in this episode with regards to where we
mm.
are. So
Right. Mm,
the characters will get stronger as time goes on. I think.
yep. So how do you feel about this episode in general?
I feel like it was good. I enjoyed it, and I ranked it number
Yep.
2.
I rank it number two as well.
Okay,
So
our lists are gonna be
we got
similar.
the same number two. All right. So
Right,
that have a total score of 4.
right. And so the lower your score, the better. The bottom
Yep.
4 are
That's right.
probably gonna get regular coverage.
All right. So one last question before we get into the next show. Is that it meet your expectation of like this is a show from what Shichiro Watanabe.
Well, I
Is that
didn't. I wasn't really fond of
yep.
Zankyo no Terror. So it's not as though
Right.
his last work
Yep.
was like super mind blowing, and I wanted this one to live up to it. I was just
Mm.
curious, because he's a good director, and I wanted to see what he would do with this premise. And yeah, I would
Mm.
say it met my expectations because they weren't sky high.
Right. All right. So let's get to the next show, which is actually the carryover from last season, Dororo,
Right. Episode
episode
13.
13. Um, this actually have a very interesting premise for me. So that's about the statue of the Buddha who have no face,
Right.
or he has like multiple face, which make him having no face.
Yeah, he's just an unfinished statue.
Right.
And the what would you say, the carver or the carver, right? That's the word you
Yep.
would use. The car. It's interesting. One of the most interesting things to me about the episode is that the carver is not the demon. Like all the negative energy that Hyakimaru can see with his spirit vision, is in the statue rather than in her. So that allows. I mean, when you think about it, that's probably just a device that the show uses in order to allow those two characters, Dororo and Hyakimaru, to get closer to Okaka because she resembles one of their
Yep.
mothers.
Yep.
Like with the curse being in the statue, he wouldn't just be able to see right away that she's a demon and then cut her head off.
Yep. I actually agree with that. I think the reason why that the girl doesn't have like his like devil, doesn't have like her devil's red aura. It's just because they want to explore the relationship between her and Dororo, which I think is a good one. It's not bad actually.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I'm good. I'm good.
I agree that the concept is good. However, I think this episode was pretty lackluster in its visual presentation, even maybe in its pacing a little bit. I mean, I thought the pacing was fine for the most part because this is a big story with some emotional heft to it that they have to tell in just 20-something minutes. But
Yep.
I was like, dude, some of these scenes just look like ass. Like they just looked awful.
I actually have no issue with the visual. In fact, like one of the show that we're gonna mention later, I don't have an issue with that either.
I mean,
And I
go back
Yep.
and watch the scene where Dororo is picking up sticks for firewood right before he hears the waterfall and goes to check it out. And he meets Okaka there.
Yep.
Check the scene where
Right.
he's picking up sticks. Because it is, like, of the 13 episodes so far, it is the worst animated scene.
All right. I trust you on that. I'm not gonna look back on that.
It just made me groan when I watched it, like, out loud as I was watching.
All right. This episode also marked that the improvement of of the main characters. He had Kimaru, as he talk normally to Dororo now.
Yeah, I'm kind of
And
disappointed that his
Really?
sentences are so complete. Yeah, that he's like using verbs to connect subjects and objects within his
Yep.
sentences, and he like I would like to hear more kind of caveman speech from him before we like level up into full sentences, if ever.
Yep. Well, I see why you want to do it. I actually agree with you on that. But also nice to hear that like like him consider like Dororo how to say that choice opinion prefer of going to the onsen, to the hot spring.
Well, Dororo has to trick him into going to the hot spring by saying there's a demon there.
Yeah, but he know that he know that Dororo tried to trick him.
Really? I didn't.
Yeah. So like in the end though he know that Dororo is tricking him, but he still wanted to go to the hot spring.
I see. Okay, maybe I was too disinterested in the proceedings to pick up on that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's just like a very last minute of the show.
Oh, really? When they're in the hot spring and we see the map on Dororo's back?
Oh, sorry. It's like 3-4 minutes before that, and then we get into. I actually forget about that last bit. So there is apparently there is a map in the bag. So what do you take of that?
I don't know.
Don't even care.
Hyakimaru and the priest, neither of them can see in the way that normal
Yep.
people do. So I wonder if they can even perceive the map. I wonder if they even
Yeah,
know that it's
I
there.
think that's maybe one of the reasons why that both he had Kimadu and the priest missed the room map in the back before because they can't see it.
Well, I think it just appeared.
Huh.
Has she always had it on her back?
I have no idea. That we never see her, like naked before.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, the way it was kind of faint, it wasn't it hadn't totally come in yet, like it hadn't totally
Yep.
appeared. It made me think that it was like a recent thing, and it's just starting to get etched into her back. Like it might become more pronounced in the future.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's the interesting bit of the episodes, and I wonder what's gonna be happen in the future. Maybe she have been cursed. Maybe it's just a map to like to for Hiyakimaru and Dodoro to fight the monster. And
Yeah.
actually, they have mentioned that before that the monster that Hiyakimaru killed in the last episode doesn't bring back his body.
You mean the Firefox spirit thing?
Yeah, the five frog. I think
I
they
guess
mentioned
it.
about the
I
fox.
guess it wasn't one of the demons that Daigo had made a deal with. I mean, there must be others,
All
right?
right. Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
just the ones in
Makes
the Hall of
sense.
Hell.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So yeah, I think this is one of the better episode of Doro. But
Hmm.
then again, I'm not really the type who enjoy Doro that much. Still appreciate the show. Never really outright love the show. Many of my friends though they love the road. They just told me how the road like stand out from the rest of the park.
Hmm. I see. Well, it is an action series, and I think it probably has a lot of mass appeal. Like even the new
Right.
OP by Asian Kung Fu Generation just sounds and looks like a Naruto OP.
Right. So that's from Asian Kung Fu.
Yeah. I
Um.
mean, their work for Tatami Galaxy and Erased was so much like
Yep.
not only was their song more interesting, but the visuals for Tatami Galaxy's OP, which mixes in the black and white live action footage and the just the stills
Mm-hmm,
of all the
mm-hmm.
characters kind of zooming by the camera, and then
Yep.
Erased has that whole thing with like there's the roll of film that's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
spliced through the entire thing, giving you the idea that the character can travel backwards in time or forwards or whatever.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
they have they have some relevance to the themes of their series. For this one, it's just like, oh, it's an adventure show, and they're gonna cut up demons and stuff. The first OP for the show is way more interesting looking and like musically daring.
Yep. I agree with you on that. I enjoy. I prefer the first OP of the room more than the second one, more
Yeah.
than this one.
So now it just feels, in addition to the show, like having an OP like Naruto is just they're gonna do Naruto things for the rest of the series, like kill monsters. I don't know. I'm not
All
really into
right.
it.
Yep. So my ranking for the role is a top 10.
I put it last.
All right. No surprise. So Whooper have it at 10. So that's 18
18
combined.
points. Yeah, that's probably gonna be last place.
Yep.
Although the
Maybe
next
not.
the next yeah, we have a couple others that could might get there.
Right. So the next one gonna be the original show from PA Work,
Yeah.
which is Fairy Gone.
I mean, I think PA Works are the number one anime studio in terms of creating original works or animating them at least. I don't know where the creation comes
Well,
in.
I was about to talk. I was about to say Kyoto Animation
No,
until I realized
they do
that
tons of adaptations.
that's right. Many of their works are like light novels from their so-called competition.
Yeah, or just manga,
or
like
worse. Yeah.
Kobayashi-san no Chimei Dragon or whatever it's called. And
All right, that's right.
Kyoko was a novel, and
Yep.
their next TV animated series,
He
the one about electricity or something, that's based on a novel or a light novel or something.
the one about the electricity.
Yeah, that's their next. There's their upcoming animated
Oh,
work
really?
for 2020.
It.
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know about that. Wow.
yeah, it's already been announced because it won some contest or something. I don't know.
Hmm. All right. So yep, and this show though, Fairy Gone remind me a fair bit of their series The Jacker
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, same here.
Remind me too
That's
much
why
of
I'm
that
not. That's
actually.
why I'm not that interested in it. Yeah,
That's right, and and considering that how series The Jacker comes and goes without leaving any impact to me and maybe to the anime community in general. I have very little hope for Fairy Gone. It had like the same kind of storytelling, the same kind of the visual design, and the same kind of like just the lack of characteristic.
yeah. We were just talking about whether Carol and Tuesday laid enough groundwork for its characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, with how bland everyone is in Fairy Gone, that almost seems ridiculous of us to have questioned that earlier show because Fairy Gone is just like the characters are just so stoic and they're all just like ciphers. You don't, and the only one of them that really emotes or has anything going on in their life, their backstory that we can understand is like constantly yelling and I don't know. Like there's just so little authenticity to the way the characters talk to each other. And I mean, part of that could be because many of them were soldiers in a supernatural war. So there could be some
Mm-hmm.
trauma, that is
Yep.
like they could be
Yep.
like changed individuals. But the show doesn't dig
Mm-hmm.
into that or even hint at it. It's just like here are all these characters, they can summon fairies and let's see what happens when they do.
And I just think that the show just the episodes just go through many set piece from one set piece to the next, and we don't really have a good grasp of what happening, and the characters just just they just non-existent. They terrible.
Yeah.
I don't really feel related to any of the characters for one thing, and their interaction to each other is so I don't even know the word to say.
Lame. Like
Uh,
for example,
Awkward.
the
Yep.
oh awkward, that works too. Like
Yep.
the handshake scene or the at the very end with the sun coming up over the horizon between
Right.
I don't
Right.
know
Right.
anybody's names. I mean, I know the one girl's name. It's like Marlia.
Malia.
And then there's the guy with the beard or the facial stubble.
Yep. Yep.
Like when they're shaking hands or they're grasping hands as the sun's rising behind them. As I was watching that, I was thinking, wow, this is really supposed to be like an important meeting of two significant characters, but I don't I don't know why I would watch any more of either of them. Like they're not real;
Right.
they're TV characters, so there has to be something about them that I really like
Yep.
if I want to watch them again for 20 minutes. But the like she's joining his supernatural organization or something based
Yep.
on what? They were just kind of in the same environment for a while where a bunch of chaos was going on, and he was like,
Uh,
let's join forces." Why? Just so there can
uh,
be a TV show? Like I
no, no. Apparently, he feel touched by the way that she, as she go through all of her teens. I don't know.
Her what?
From her teenagers, just to find her best friend.
She
I
went
don't know,
all through
man.
all of her teenage years just to find her best friend.
Yep. So she wanted to look for the other one. I think her name is Veronica.
Yeah. It's
And
like something a little different, like Valerica or
yep.
it's like some
I
twist
don't
on
care.
Veronica, I think. But the
Yep.
like that's not a good reason for you to bring somebody on to your like police fairy team
Uh,
or
I
whatever
have
it
no idea,
is.
man.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. How do you think about the visual of Fairy Gone?
I don't care. What did you rank it?
All right. Uh, that's really straightforward from you. All right. I
I mean,
I'd rank it
we gotta get
nine.
going because we're supposed to like limit the time that each series gets. We spent too long on the first two.
Yep. All right. This is the show that you pick. All right.
Yeah, that's true. I'm
I rank it
sorry.
9 of 10.
Okay, so did I.
So it's have a combined score of 18 point.
So it's tied for last place.
Yep.
There could potentially be a three-way tie for last.
There's no way. Oh, there is.
There
Actually,
is, yeah.
there is. All right. So we can we can keep continue on then.
All right.
The next show will be Fruit Basket.
Yeah. Did you like it?
I like it. I like the first episode well enough. I haven't seen the original though, so I can't tell how, even the manga. So I can tell how well it's adapted from the short material. I see there are some issues with the CG, the
The
production as a whole.
What's the
So tell
what's the
you,
issue with the CG?
all right. When they transform, you can see like the CG smoke.
Oh, that's
And
totally intentional.
well, I don't think that's a good one though.
Oh, I like it. I think
All
it's cool.
right.
I don't think it's CG. I think it's real. I think it's live action. Just the smoke.
Is it?
They capture footage of smoke like what's the word? Not pummeling. Just spreading outward.
All right.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
live action.
I think. All right. I think I just feel like it stand out in a not very good way, but I think it's intentional to do that.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to represent like the big gap between the characters in their human forms and in their spirit forms. Like using a different form of visual presentation, whether it be CG or real life. But I think I guess I already made it clear what I think it is. But like regardless,
Yep.
just using a different visual technique emphasizes the fact that like a gigantic shift is going on. So it kind of
Right.
heightens the significance of their transformation.
Yep. There is one other issue that I have regarding the first episodes is the pacing is a bit uneven. So it's mostly fine. I like the first bit where we see like the main characters Toru Honda. We know more about her. We know about her life, about why she wanted to stay in a tent, and to the event that she meet uh, the 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 people from the Soma family.
Yeah.
The bit that I feel very abrupted and awkward though is when her tent was being covered by the snow of some sort.
It was like a landslide, right?
All right, yeah, I that scene went pretty quickly and resolved very quickly as well, and I feel it feels just very choppy and abrupted to me.
I don't think it was that much faster than the girls in Carolyn Tuesday deciding to form a band after meeting like 12 hours prior.
Yep. All right.
I thought it was okay.
Fair enough point. Yep.
Especially since like the very first scene of the show is her camping in the tent. Like that's the
Yep.
very first thing we learn is that she's in some sort of situation where she's camping in a tent. No, camping is the wrong word. She's living in a tent.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so the landslide happens around the midway point or maybe a little bit after.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely displaced from her home very quickly so that she can get pushed into the house with all the beautiful boys. Because that's what this show is. It's a reverse harem. But it also, I really like the main character. I really like Toru. Her family situation is really tragic, but the show doesn't dwell on it for too long. Like it does take its time in showing us that her mother was a wonderful woman, and a lot of those qualities have probably been passed on to her because she is a hard worker, and she does get along with others as best she can, despite the fact that she's living this, terribly difficult life.
Yep.
So as a result, Fruits Basket, all the shenanigans that she's going to get up to with like all these hot dudes, will probably feel like like a welcome, change, like a bit of a fantasy that she gets to live, even though both of her parents are deceased and she's working part time at a hotel as a janitor or a custodian.
Was he?
Yeah.
All right. I think I missed that. I just saw. Oh yeah, that's right. She
And
was cleaning.
the two other women are like, man, things have gotten a lot easier since Toru showed up.
Yep.
Um, I
Um.
do really like that the first thing we learn is that she's living in a tent, and we're left hanging for a little bit as to why. Like I think most shows would be tempted to explain it right away, but Fruits Basket
Yep.
just lets us watch her go to school and see what kind of person she is, what kind of character she is, and then eventually we learn
Right.
the reason why. So I think that was a good order of events to present
Yep.
things in.
I actually very surprised that just within the first episode we know well about her situation, and we even know about some of the boys' character and situation as well. So I think like the characters writing is one of the best strength of Fruits Basket.
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
Yeah, I feel like all the boys that she met so far, like Yuki, Kyo, and the other one, the rat, the cat, and the dog,
Hmm.
they all have a different personality. They have like different way of speaking, different like speech pattern, and they also like hint more depth into their character already, and even and on top of that they bounce off really well together. So the character writing is really good.
Yeah, I think so too. Although the redheaded guy,
Yep,
I
the
guess
cat.
he's the cat. Yeah, I think he's a
Yep,
little bit too much of like an a
annoying,
Genki boy,
shouting.
like
Yep.
just full of energy and stuff. You know, I think
Well,
in the process of his romance, with Toru kind of moving forward and his antagonism against the rat, Yuki, I think we'll
yep,
learn more about him through those things. But he does seem a little less believable than the other two. But he's had
yep.
less time on screen, so that's just a consequence of that probably.
All right. One thing though is because the cat isn't like original in the Chinese zodiac. So I think that's one of the reason why that he feel, I don't know, man. He just feel more different than the other two.
Okay, so you think it's to to match up with the
So
fact that
so
he's not part of, like he's not one of the
yeah.
12.
Well, maybe that explains why he had the rat, because
Well,
I
yeah,
think in
that
the
definitely
story,
explains that.
yep. So well,
But in terms of him just being loud and kind of bothersome,
yeah.
I mean,
Um,
maybe we're just he's supposed to stick out like a sore thumb because that's how all the Soma brothers or the Soma family perceive him. Like he sticks
mhm.
out, he's not welcome.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't think
So
about that.
yeah, I actually I'm pretty excited to see like how the story go from here. Although no, I think we know the formula that she gonna meet like all the remaining, like characters from from the Shoma family. I still looking forward to that because I think that all the 12 characters can be in some way stand out and can be like in their own personality, which is good.
Hopefully, I mean
Um,
that's a kind of a bold prediction to make, given that we've only met two of the 12 members of the Zodiac
yep,
plus the
and
cat.
plus one, yep. uh, I'm a bit afraid of the production note. I just hope that it can keep up. It can just like maintain the quality.
I think
Uh,
it'll be fine.
uh, Hopefully it's be fine because really like all these anime, all these like imagination of the classic anime have been not not really good. Like Kino Chonis, like Berserk. What else? The
What,
one
like
we
what?
just
Berserk?
yeah,
Ah.
like on the remake have been really bad.
What about Lupin?
Oh, Lupin was good.
Yeah. I
Lupin was good.
don't think it's a hard and fast rule that. I mean, what about the Gegege no Kitaro?
All right. That's happened. Like remake every like 2 or 3 years, I think.
Every 10. There's one per decade, I think.
Well, so they have more experience.
Well, but it's probably
Adapting
going to be a
that.
different staff every time. I mean, some people might carry over, but that's a long gap. I don't think,
Yeah.
remakes are always a downgrade. It's a bit of
Right.
a
Well,
generalization.
oh, and just last season, Boogie Pop Phantom.
That's a
It's
bit of a
not
special
that.
case because,
Mhm.
well, Boogie Bop Phantom, that was the one from 2000.
Yep.
Boogie Bop Wa Warawanai, that was the one from last season.
Right.
And that's
All right.
almost a totally different thing.
All right.
This one was
I
anime
think I get what
original.
you mean. Yeah. So, how would you try Fruit Basket?
Third.
Well, I drank it fourth
Okay.
out of 10. So the combined score is 7.
Yeah, that's
Would
going to
I
be
agree?
good enough to get it blogged probably. In fact, it's
All right.
guaranteed.
Let's
Assuming
see.
assuming that we both put one show as joint first place, it's guaranteed.
All right. Let's move on to the next show then. Guncho no Macmel.
Yes.
The show that based from the Chinese manga.
Yeah. Although to me this
All
just
right.
reads
I think.
as shonen.
Sorry.
To me this just feels
Say
like
it again.
shonen. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It feel like a shonen show, and I think that's the reason why Studio Period picked this up.
I mean, it's literally just the Dark Continent arc of Hunter x Hunter made into its own series.
Right. Oh wow! I actually interested to see Hunter x Hunter now.
Well,
All right.
you gotta watch the entire 148 episode adaptation first, and then read the manga to get to the Dark Continent arc.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? So it still hasn't finished yet, the anime.
No, the anime is finished. They cut it off,
All right.
because there's not enough
I got
material
it.
to adapt more. It comes out really slowly.
Yep.
It's the Dark
Yep.
Continent arc that they're in right now, and so Gunjo no Magmel is the same thing. Oh, a continent showed up. Let's go explore it. It's just the same.
Yep. And it's have like only change dangerous animals, and it just when you stay there for a really long time, you will lose your mind.
Yeah.
That's the message.
Yeah.
Well,
It's kind of
need-
interesting to see.
well, needless to say
Go
though,
ahead.
yeah, needless to say though, I actually enjoyed the first episodes. I think it does well to establish the attractive of the new continent, which is Magmel. That's the name, and it's like the dangerous place that both glory and dangerous at the same time. So yeah, I think this is a good first episodes. Not great, but it's enjoyable and it's good.
Okay. I thought it was meh. I thought the background art was pretty good, which is one of the most important things that it could have done because it needs to establish the continent as like, a kind of a wild and an attractive place that people
Yep.
really are drawn to.
Yep.
However, I thought that everything apart from the background art was pretty bad.
Right. You don't like the characters, the main characters.
I mean, I hesitate to use the word character when describing him.
All right.
He's just like an agent of justice who calmly processes everything and uses his lightning powers to, fix whatever problems the
Buster.
script arise. Are in the script. The
Yep.
And his, his relationship with the little robot maid who keeps calling him master. Like,
Yep.
what? There's no interesting dynamic between their characters whatsoever.
Right.
She's
Right.
just like Navi from Ocarina of Time, the Zelda game. Like the fairy who gives you hints about
Yep.
the game. That's her
Yep.
role. It's pretty.
Well,
It's pretty lame.
I agree. Yep. The concept of the case that he has though about like a flower who that is in bloom in when people died.
Yes,
Actually, it's a very pretty interesting concept. I like it.
the Promised Neverland.
Yeah, well, right.
Probably took that from there, just like they took the Dark Continent arc.
Yep.
I mean,
All right.
I honestly believe they probably took both of those. Like, this just feels total shonen, and those series
All,
tend to ape each other all the time. So
all right.
I
An
really do
original.
believe that they got both of those concepts from those series.
All right. I think I get what you mean. Um. Well, it's I'm gonna check this out week by week to see like how this hold up. But I'm pretty sure that you don't want to watch any more of this material, right?
No, not really. I mean, the for this episode in particular, talking more about like the specifics of this one, not just the concept. Um,
Yep.
like the flashback to the little boy's family situation happens so
Mm-hmm.
early in this episode, like within the first, I don't know, 6 7 minutes.
Yep.
That's not how you ought to, script your series. You should
All right.
tell us a little bit about the main guy first. Let us
Mm-hmm,
figure
mm-hmm.
out like what he's about before you introduce us to the client and have the client totally dominate the rest of the episode.
Yep. Yep. All right. I agree with that note. Yep.
Yeah, so, and I'm like, he was just so idealistic, and he was clueless like up until the moment of his death, which made him frustrating to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all from me, dog.
All right. Nah, that's all for the show.
Okay.
So, so yeah, I rank it 7 out of 10. How about you?
8.
So it's have a combined score of 15.
Did you seriously put Hitori Bochi last?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Because we're gonna get to that show right now.
All right. Let's do it.
Hitoribochi no Naru Maru.
Okay.
Sekatsu. Oh my god, it's a long name.
It's supposed to be like Hitori Bochi's Lonely Life or something like that. I don't know. I just wrote Hitori Bochi.
Yep. So we have the main characters who is named Hitoribochi,
Mm-hmm.
and she shy and she uh just like on the first day at school. Is that the middle school? It is a middle school that she just too shy that she like come up with a plan to get rid of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
She also making a note to say that the class has been destroyed, and it's backfire on her, so that she don't have any other plan, so she have to show up to the class, and she's so nervous that she can't even introduce herself properly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she managed to make a friend,
Yeah.
and what else? And they become best friend. Voila.
How nice for Hitori
So
Bochi.
yeah, that was designed for her. So I just feel that she's not an interesting lead, to say the least.
How is she uninteresting? Like her characterization is very strong. We spend
All
most
right.
of the episode learning about her and
Yep.
watching her interact with the blonde-haired girl whose name I don't think I wrote down.
Sotka.
What?
It has a strange name, Sotka.
Sotka?
I look it up on the internet. Her name is Sotka.
Okay. I think this is the kind of series where all the characters' names will be puns based on like
Yep.
their personality traits. Kind of like
Mm.
what was it? what was that show called from 2016? That
Uh,
short
2016 short.
Galco-chan, where all the characters are based
Oh, right.
on, you know, their names are based on their personalities.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
Hitori
Yep. Yep.
Bochi's name literally means loneliness.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Hitori Bochi
So.
means like isolated or lonely.
Hmm.
So we get a clear sense of who she is, and the production of the show supports it. Like
Right.
the scenes where she's in despair, the scenes where I particularly like the scenes where she runs away. Whenever there's a situation or a character, something that she can't deal with, she runs away, and the show does not use like just the type of speed lines that are so prevalent in anime now, where you just like
Yep.
put them on top of everything that's going on as a like post processing, as an effect that just gets slapped on top of everything. Rather, they're
Yep.
actually they appear to be painted. Very very thin lines on white backgrounds that show up and move very naturally and smoothly as she's running away. It gives you the sense that she's really anxious and really trying to flee from whatever is causing her that anxiety. Not in the same sense that like Watamote um, dealt with anxiety in like a much more serious and darkly comic fashion. Hitori Bochi is like a very very fluffy feel good show.
And that fluffy feel energy is what I have an issue with. I think the show really make light of the issues. For one thing, I feel like the show trying to kill the main character up,
Try
so
to
that
what?
like kill her up. So like
Cute her up.
every yeah. So basically like everything she have to do will be very cute.
Yeah.
We can't fault her because she's cute, and it just I just can't stand that.
Aren't you a big KyoAni fan?
Well, I do, but not on the wimpy characters like this.
Not wimpy. You like only the manly KyoAni shows.
I like the quiet shows, like quiet type girl, like Yuki in Haruhi.
Okay. Well,
You know, she doesn't
to
talk.
yeah, but like Yuki, like the thing that's interesting about her is mysterious. Like her mysteriousness.
Yeah,
And how she like slowly she's an AI and she slowly learns to like she takes on human emotion. That's what disappearance is all about.
right.
But Hitori Bochi is not like that.
Yep,
Hitori
yep, yep.
is a very vibrant character, despite
But
her.
all right, but she doesn't feel real for me, like in any point.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I don't think like any of the middle school girl would like draw out plans of like making friend with a
This is
book.
anime, right?
Yeah, I know. But well, I just don't care one bit about her,
Okay. Well, I do.
and that's is important because this show is about her, like trying to overcome her fear and making friends along the way. And I still feel like everything has been too easy for her. Like the way that she making her first friend is still a bit easy.
Yeah, it's definitely very easy. But if you watch the show, you will
Yep.
recognize that the atmosphere it's going for is not one of struggle or
Yep.
darkness. This is not Watamote. This is not NHK ni Yokoso. This is Hitori Bochi, and it's almost this show is almost um, like what's the word I'm looking for? Not elixir or antidote, but it's like
Healing.
it's kind of like it's comforting perhaps for people who actually have social anxiety. They can see their fears reflected on screen, but presented in a way that is not about um, portraying them as really really difficult to deal with, really
Right.
really hard to grapple with. They can see them portrayed on screen in a way that makes them look manageable, and
Yep.
perhaps like
Yep.
is a nice distraction for them or a comfort for them. And I think that's really interesting that it takes that it takes that disorder and instead of mining it for dark comedy or despair or drama. It
Mm.
goes in the opposite direction.
Yep.
So
Well,
I like that
yep.
about it, and I like
All
Bochi
right.
because, as you said, she is cute. Um,
Too cute
and
for me. Uh,
yeah, well, that might be a matter of
yep.
personal preference. But I mean, I don't think
Right.
I don't think you can argue against the show's production.
Yep. Yeah. I don't agree with that. I think the person doing the best to make this show as fluffy and as cute as possible, and they did a job.
Nice.
Yep. And have you watched any of the episode of Slow Start last
No,
year?
no.
All right, because it did. This one have remind me like having like the same vibe as Slow Start last year, and I hated that show a lot.
All right. Well, you had to watch that for the anime awards, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Maybe I'll check
It
out
have a
episode 1 of
very
Slow Start.
nice. Yeah, well, it have a very nice animation note in Slow Start.
Is Slow Start the one about the girl who's like younger than everyone else in school?
No, 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 no. So she older than everyone in school because she
Older.
skipped 1 year. Yeah, because
No,
she was sick.
if you're
Uh,
sick, if you
s-
skip 1 year, then you're younger
yep.
than everyone else. She
She
skipped a
oh
grade.
so no so she skipped the grade. So she was sick at the final exam. So she had to repeat the year.
Oh, she had to repeat a year. Yes, that would make her
Yep.
older.
And
Huh.
she was so afraid of making of telling that truth that the entire 12 episodes she didn't even tell her friends that
The
truth.
entire 12 episodes? What about the very last episode? They must have figured it out, right?
No, 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 no.
Are you
So they
serious?
kind of forget about that premise.
Well, that sounds kind of lame.
Maybe they're waiting for the second season.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, all right. If
Anyway,
yeah. Anyway, I give it 10 out of 10.
nice. I put
Right
it bit.
in rank. Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
So if 15 is in point in total,
Yeah, buddy.
but it's the same point at Macmill
Yeah.
note. Well, interesting. The next one. So I figure that the last four that we're gonna talk will be in the upper rank. They're gonna
Uh,
be
okay. Yeah, sort of. For one of
all
us.
right for one of us. Maybe that next show then will be the one that we have a divisive opinion the most.
Yeah, I think so.
So the next one will be Kimetsu no Yaiba,
Yeah.
another shonen show.
Yes, definitely.
Not this one a bit dark. Actually, yeah, it's dark. It's
Dark and manly, not cute.
mainly right, right, and
10 out of 10.
all right. The first thing I gonna say is the production. I think the production is pretty good.
Yeah.
The character design, for example, are distinctive. All characters look really attractive to me.
Yeah, I would say
Uh,
that the design of a lot of the characters is similar. The fact
Similar.
that the design is so distinctive and it's used for so many characters, like the alternating line thickness, the big eyes with the white pupils. Every character looks like that. However, it's a really good design,
Yep.
so that's cool.
Yep.
Hello,
And do
I can hear you.
I can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. Let's just continue, right?
Okay.
I also like the story of the first episode. It have the hook.
It
So
certainly
it's-
it certainly has a hook. Not much
So
else.
it. All right. All right. I kind of agree with you on that. except that I feel like the three main characters that we have in the first episodes all have their personality and all going through their like their um we all get behind the thinking. So the
Well,
main
given that
characters.
they all have like a 60 IQ, I would say that yes, we can get behind their thinking. We can
All
understand.
right. So let's first hear what you think about the show first.
You already know, man. I've been making it as clear as possible.
All right, tell me more about that.
This show is dumb. It is
All
dumb.
right,
The guy who posted on the
how
blog
so?
that big rant about this series, did you see that comment?
Yep.
That dude
Is
was
that
right.
you?
No. No, it was some guy named Ava Fan.
All right.
No, it wasn't me. um In fact, when he made that follow-up post about how, modern anime is just blah blah blah. And I was like,
Yep.
sit down. But no, he was right about this series. This is dumb.
All
Uh,
right.
it's like just so laborious.
Oh,
Like when she's becoming a demon, the girl Nezuko, and her brother just
yep.
is like screaming at her, "Ganbare, ganbare, ganbare!" Like hang in there. Do fight, fight, fight. Don't give in to becoming a demon. Like what are you doing? She can't. She's turning into a demon, my dude. Like I understand that would make you upset, but wouldn't a real person, like, I don't know, scream her name or something instead of just endlessly telling her like not to, hang it, ganbare. It's so, like, I don't know. Somebody just really loves that word. Um and the whole thing where he's a charcoal. His family sells charcoal, so he goes into the city, and
Mm-hmm.
you already know that when he comes back, the demons will have attacked. So, but the entire scene where he's leaving his family, like they establish him as the most generic, like perfect big brother, and son imaginable. Like he's helping his mom. All of his siblings love him and want to go with him. They want to play with him, but he has to go and sell this charcoal. And so when he comes back, of course, his whole family is dead. Like, oh my God.
You,
Am I eight
all right.
years old that I need this sweeping orchestral music with the layered vocals and the harps, literal harps playing in the background during all of this stuff where he's like talking to his siblings and is like so amazing and so beloved by his family? It's
All right. You know what? When I first see the scene where he say goodbye to the brothers and the mom, I thought to myself that you know they're gonna die soon
yes, of course.
because it was obvious that
Yeah.
they just a divide. But all right, everything else worked for not everything else, but yeah, like the most part worked for me, especially when Nezuko, despite being in the demon form, tried to save his brother. I think that squeezed some of the emotion out of me.
Okay.
So, but I enjoy your take on the show.
Oh, I'm not done. There's
All right,
more.
go on. Okay, go on.
All right, so that's
It's
that's the first part, and then the demon attack happens. Then he escapes with his sister. So the entire second half of the series is
mm-hmm.
dedicated to their little conflict with Tanjiro, the demon hunter.
Yep,
No, wait, Tanjiro is the
yep,
main character. I can't remember the demon hunter's name, but the
yep.
demon hunter is like, it's I don't know why that scene was so long. It was like 10 minutes, and he was like constantly, it was just a really basic ideological conflict where Tanjiro is like, no, there's value in human life, and he's like, no, we have to kill her. She's part demon or something. We have to kill the
Mm-hmm,
demons.
mm-hmm.
So that
Yep.
that in itself, that's fine. You can tell a story with that sort of, very very broad theme, and you can
Mm-hmm.
make that work. But the thing is that 10-minute scene is just dominated by like him, like, they have that little fight, and there are elements of strategy where Tanjiro throws the hatchet up in the air,
Yep.
and then like Nezuko protects her brother when he's gonna attack him. whenever
Yep.
something like that happens, we go into his inner monologue for like a full 60 seconds as he
Yep.
ponders the significance of what has just occurred. Why not, if it's an action series, why not just let the action play out instead of like cutting to his little speech bubbles where he's just reiterating what's just happened with like a couple different words. It's such poor writing. Like, this is how you write when you have read a lot of shonen manga and you're like, I don't know, 14 years old and you have an idea to make one yourself.
All right.
It's so bad.
All right. I also do feel that the narration is a bit overbearing, and it threatened to overwhelm the action because, like you said, this is the action show, so let the action speak for themselves. But yeah, all right. I think I understand what you've been saying.
Yeah, all right, I'm good. On the production side, yeah, I think it looks pretty good, and I'm interested in the way that they use moving CG backgrounds, like when characters are
Yep.
running through a snowy forest and the trees are all like being individually animated. Um, it's a little jarring for me, but I do admire the attempt, and I would be interested in seeing more. Like, for the most part, I don't think I'm going to continue with this show, but
Yep.
if I did, it would be to see how the action shapes out. You know, like whether they continue to push this integration of CG backgrounds forward, whether they do anything even more interesting with it.
Right. Yep. So I figure you put that sort of 7 out of 10.
That's right.
Yep. Mine is third out of 10.
Okay.
So the combined score is 10 point.
Not bad. Not bad.
All right, for 7 at the moment it's come at third show that we gonna yep, that's we gonna cover, but we got like 3 show left.
Yeah, and they're all decent,
Yeah, and they're all decent.
at least.
So let's go with the next show, which is Mix
Right.
from the mangaka. What's his name? Daichi something, right?
Adachi.
Adachi.
Yeah, he's been making baseball manga for like 30 years at least.
His whole decade, his whole career.
Pretty much, yeah. He's done other stuff, but most of it is sports focused, and the majority of that is baseball.
And all right, let's cut to the chase. How you feel about this? The first episode of Mix.
Pretty good. Though
Right.
I don't think, Cross Game's first episode is like unbelievable. Mix is
Really?
yeah, it's really 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 good. Mix is not that. Mix is a very slow and plodding and kind of atmospheric beginning to a sports series. I'm a fan of this particular style of storytelling, like the pace at which this episode moves forward, and the character. All the characters are very reserved, except for that one guy who's like an underclassman, like a first year high school student who
Yep.
pushes.
Yep.
He's kind of like the character onto which people who are like, can we just get this show on the road already? They're probably gonna like his character. But I really do like the two brothers. You know how quiet they are and how little we know, but how much is hinted about their relationship.
Right. They have they've yeah. Well, they have been hinted about how they are brothers. They have like the same birthdays. They're 10 minutes apart, but apparently they are from different hospital. Because I remember one of them mentioned like maybe just my hospital say it late or something.
Yeah. So they're not twins, or are they?
And they're not twin. Yeah, well,
We don't
have
really
no
know
idea.
what's going on yet. Yeah. I think that's going to relate to Touch. This is a sequel to Touch, and I think one of the boys is probably like, I don't know, the son of one of the characters from Touch, and perhaps the other is from a different mother, or something. I really don't know. I haven't seen Touch. Full disclosure.
All right, and like really one of the main trope from Adachi's baseball story is the brother rivalry, and we have this right off the bat.
Is the oh yes the sibling rivalry, brothers rivalry, yeah.
Yep.
That I mean, not everyone that wasn't present in Cross Game,
Oh, all right, all right.
but yes, you're correct. He focuses on family relationships. Tragedy often occurs in his works. You know, competitive sport.
Yep.
Mostly those three things.
All right. For two things, those I think that the narrations is a bit off in the first episodes.
The direction,
This no the narration,
the narration.
the voiceover. Yep. I feel that it's say a bit too much.
Right.
Just me though.
The female voice.
Yep.
Yeah. That's one of the
And
characters from Touch. It's
and
her,
because
it's her voice
I'm
actress.
yeah, and because I'm new to the series though, so I have no idea what that voice. So who's the character behind the voice? So I have no knowledge about that,
Yeah. I don't
and
either.
yeah, I feel it's a bit distracting, just a bit though, not that much, because I just think that if without the narration, the show can still work very well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I was a little distracted by it. Like when I was watching Mix, I kind of had like a comforting feeling, you know, because of the familiarity of the character designs and the story and stuff.
Yep.
But it was one thing that I noted as I was watching, like, you know, the narration and some of the scene transitions could be jarring.
The second thing is that it's slow. So
Yeah.
the first episode doesn't really have like the hook. That's like Yabadik. So so it may turn up some of the like impatient viewers. I like it though. I think he already let out a lot of grower, especially between the two main characters, Toma and Sojiro, about their like their relationship to each other. They have a very natural relationship to each other.
Yeah.
They fun of each other, but they also want to like want to
Outdo the
rival.
other.
Yeah, that's right. So that interesting, and we also see some of the like favorism between the team that they participating right now. So that's gonna be like a subplot that we're gonna see more in the next few episodes.
Right. And it's important to note that what we're seeing right now, this is happening in middle school.
Oh yeah, middle school.
But I feel as though this is being treated as a prologue because we'll eventually get to high school.
Yep. So how many episodes you think this gonna be?
I have no idea. Cross Game was 50, Touch was 100. The Mix manga is still ongoing. So
Alright.
I don't even know why it's getting an adaptation at this point. Like I don't know if he's planning on concluding it soon. I really have no idea. At least 26 is my guess.
Yep. And we won't see the end of it. even with 26 episodes.
Perhaps not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna. My plan is, I mean, I really don't have that much time to watch anime, given that I'm working 2 jobs and I have to watch stuff for the end of the decade and whatever else.
Yep.
But I would like to watch Touch alongside this, perhaps, if I find the time, because the people who have seen Touch will not shut up about it. So it's probably pretty good.
Yep.
And I mean, it was also extremely popular in Japan. Like a generation of people were raised on it. So that's why Mix uses the narrator from Touch, I think, and that's why it makes the connections between the series. Like at the end when she says, "Oh, whose jersey could this be with the number 1 on it that they found in their house?"
Yep.
It's probably a character from Touch. So I think that's the reason the connection is so overt, is because they want to remind people, hey, this is related to Touch. Remember that thing that you loved and your parents taught you to love when you were a
Yep.
kid, that this is more of that.
All right.
So
Happy.
that's my guess. And for both of us, not having seen it,
Mm,
that doesn't pack as much of a punch, I guess. But
right.
this is still definitely Adachi. Like the way he functions as a storyteller is that he drops small hints about the characters and lets those like little subtle um, moments be the hook, rather than like a gigantic explosion or people's heads getting cut off or a character yelling about something stupid. Rather than using those as hooks, he uses like recognizable human behavior
You were
as the hook.
referring Yaiba, right?
Well, I mean, think about the difference in the portrayal of the sibling dynamic between Mix and Yaiba.
Yep. Yep.
Like
I understand.
in Mix,
Oh,
they feel like brothers. In Yaiba, they feel like names on a page.
all right. One last thing though. How you feel about their little sister Otomi so far?
She's we know the least about her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think she's fine. She hasn't really contributed so much that I feel one way or another about her. I expect to like her very much because I
Yep.
think Adachi does great work with his female characters, especially for a mangaka of his age.
All right. So yep. So this episode is a bit too slow, but otherwise, the characters is on the simple design. It's on the simple side, but it's very much a Adachi touch in that. It have
Literally,
like yep. So touch.
yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed the episode, but as far as the first episode goes, it's unfortunately ranked at fifth out of 10 for me.
Okay, I put it fourth.
Yep, so it had a combined score of 9. So it's like number 3 right now.
Yeah, we know which four series we're blocking at this point,
Yep. Alright, let's
but we can keep going
get
on.
yep. Let's get to the next show, which is the second season of One Punch Man. Two, 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 two.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright. Um I don't let's say it first that I don't have an issue with the production of One Punch Man so far because uh it doesn't wow me in the first episode. They don't have many dynamic fight that really like wow me, but it doesn't really like too bad that like many people was afraid of.
Well, it
So I
doesn't.
think it was alright.
Yeah, I mostly agree. I recently watched One Punch Man, rewatched the first season, and this
Yep.
episode does not compare to the first episode of the original. The
Mm-hmm.
fight, like the
Yep.
dream sequence where he fights against the surface, what not the surface dwellers, the underground, like the mole people.
Yep.
That was crazy. Like you want to talk about a hook?
Yep.
That was a hook in that first
Alright.
episode. But this one, not so much. There is a definite downgrade, but that's okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
this first episode wasn't even that combat focused. Genos got into a fight with I can't even remember who or
The
what it
guy.
was.
The
Yeah,
robot.
some frog guy or another robot. Yeah.
Yep.
But it was mostly about like Saitama and King getting to know one another.
Yep.
And also at the end, there was, that important segment where, oh no, the world's going to end. We have to assemble all the heroes and villains to fight it off. This is feeling like something out of a Marvel film or something.
Yep. Yep.
And, you have Fubuki and Speed of Sound Sonic who are both seen, walking in opposite directions, like towards one another, with Saitama metaphorically in the middle, I guess.
Yep.
So everything is kind of converging into a larger story. So I think it was mostly like a table setting episode. So it didn't need to be super spectacular action.
All right. I have to say that the new character King is so right so far. I don't really like him that much. But then again, I think that he's already like rank 7 of class S. So he must have some of the hidden talent. It's just that he didn't know about that.
Oh, he doesn't have any hidden talent.
Is it like the point? Is it
Yeah.
really the point of the episodes?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Wow.
He's gotten credit for all of Saitama's actions. Like very specifically the silhouettes of the monsters, or I don't remember if they were silhouettes or if they were more detailed. But all the monsters
Yep.
that you see him having defeated were the ones that Saitama beats throughout the first season, particularly in the early episodes.
All right.
He's the one getting credit for all of Saitama's stuff just because he happens to be there. You know, Saitama leaves, he goes home because his job is done, and King is still lying there in a crater, probably having wet his pants, and everyone assumes that he's the most powerful man in the world.
Yep. All right. Well. All right.
Yeah. So,
I don't
mean,
really like him. He's alright, but I don't really like him as like the focus of this arc, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the episode definitely spent a long time introducing us to him, because it was it kind of required a lot of explanation that it's him who's that people are assuming he's done what Saitama has done. That that takes a while to relay without just like dumping it on us. So the show tells us a little more gradually than that, which is appreciated. I think he's kind of cool. I don't really
cool.
Yeah, I mean, not that he himself is cool, but I think his character is kind of cool, I guess. But the thing is, like, when it comes to One Punch Man, I'm not that interested in like where everybody is ranked or any of that stuff. That was what was interesting to me about the first season early on, is that Saitama becomes a hero. He's put in Class C. The system doesn't recognize his power, and it was in a way it was kind of mocking like Japan's fixation on scores, tests, rankings, because they are extremely focused on that. Like as a society, like educationally speaking, class ranks are posted, and kids are studying for like 1 million hours a day. But so it was kind of taking the piss out of all that in the first season. But then all of a sudden at the end, it goes full action series with everybody having a rank, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. So King is another part of that, and I don't know how interested I'm going to be going forward.
Yep. I understand what you mean. I just think that with all because I haven't read the material, I still think that it could come up another way that better than this episodes. I don't feel that much confident about the act, the coming act. But it's One Punch Man, and I probably gonna watch it to the end.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, after this episode, I'm willing to drop it.
That's sad.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think this was a bad episode by any means. I'm just not interested to watch anymore.
All right. So I'd rank it 6 out of 10, and I think you did the same.
Yes.
Right. So yep. So it had 12 points in total.
Yes, and by process of elimination.
Yep. We saved the best for last.
Let's do it.
Which is a show by Ikuhara, the new show by Ikuhara, the anime god. The show is Sarah Zemite, and it's already like attract a lot of divisive opinions regarding the episodes.
As is the norm.
I think that's the norm. Like people love it, really love it, and people hate it, really hate it.
Yeah.
Which side are you on?
I love it.
Oh my God,
I thought this episode was fantastic. I thought it was one of the best first episodes I've seen in a long time.
Right.
I thought it was totally fun. I thought the animation was crazy. The background art was brilliant. The sense of mystery about it was intriguing. I thought it was the total package, and I can't wait to watch more.
All right. You know what? You just speak my mind. So let's just stop here.
All right.
We
We'll see
don't
you
have
next week,
anything else
everybody.
to talk. um, if I gonna list like the 10 first the first the my top 10 favorite first episode of the decade, I think this one will be one of these 10.
Honestly, I think it would be for me too. I haven't I haven't made a list, but it would probably be
Yep.
up there. Yeah. This
And
one, what are some others? Do you want to talk about that? Actually, that's really interesting.
all right, I'm pretty sure that Penguin Drum gonna be in the top 5. Maybe it's gonna be the one.
Wait, what?
I
What series?
Penguin Drum.
Oh, Penguin Drum. Okay. Yes, I like
Yep.
Penguin Drum's first episode a lot.
Because it's the only thing that this episode can't compare to the first episode of Penguin Drums is the dramatic weight. Because I remember like in the first episode of Penguin Drum we have like the girl or like been dying, she's dying, so like the two brothers have to do anything to save her.
Yeah.
In Sarazama it's more of like the absurd sense of humor that drive the story, and I still love it so much. I
How about
think that's the scene where like they pop out of the penguin butt with
the
with
Kappa?
my
Kepi.
the
is his
kappa,
name.
sorry, kappa, penguin kappa, might turn up a lot of viewers.
Yeah, well, I
But
mean, they can be turned off if they want, but I thought it was hilarious.
that's hilarious. Like the animation was crazy at that scenes.
Yeah. And the scene
So
with the boys kind of like skating through that where they're all naked, and they're skating through that like torrent of water. It's like a tunnel of water.
yep,
The way that the background moves and integrates with their kind of like skating movements looks
yep,
just so good.
right. And to add to the craziness, they also have like the dance, the dance performance at the end, the dance number,
Hmm.
which is so out there. It's just so crazy. I can't even describe it.
Yeah. And the fact that immediately afterwards there's a fight against a giant cardboard box.
Yep.
Like
And
it's so weird. It's so glorious.
yeah, but it makes sense. It just
Uh
like they. All right, right. So it's not make sense actually. It just like they describe all the important point right now. They describe how the kid turned into the kappa, and do they say about their mission already?
their what? Their
No.
mission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not yet. Right.
Yeah, I think they Kepi, the what is he? I wrote
Yep.
it down. Did I put
Yeah.
it in here?
Kapi.
Yeah, he's like he's the heir apparent to the throne of the Kappa kingdom. Like he's
Yep.
next in line for the throne, I think, something like
Right.
that. And he tells them, yeah, you have to defeat those zombies in order to return to your human forms.
All right. So here you go. So we have like the very premise of the show.
Yeah, but
So
it's not, you know, it doesn't dominate
straightforward.
things.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we
That's
we
right.
under we understand what it is that they're going to have to do in order to they don't return to their human forms at the end of the episode, do they? Or do they?
They do. They do. I think
Okay.
they. Yeah, they do.
All right. So by defeating that cardboard box thing, I guess that would be like one of the um of all the zombies, that would be one of the like the head ones, I guess, one of the bosses that they would have to defeat.
Right.
They're probably going to get turned into Kappa in every episode because Ikuhara likes to repeat his transformation sequences. So I wonder if they're going to come out of Kepi's anus every single time.
They will. Believe me, they
Dude,
will.
I can't wait.
He he never shy on that. And
Well, this
at
this
the
is
end,
much farther than he's ever gone, right? I mean, Yuri Kuma was pretty uh, blatantly homosexual, but
yeah,
this is on another level, man.
it's bizarre, and I love the bizarreness. I remember on Yuri Kuma Arashi we have like the Kuma shock, but is so it's just so hilarious. The way that the Kuma, the bear, had just, oh my god, it's just so bizarre. Like that picture pop up into my head.
Yeah.
And here we have like, oh my, just the character coming out from other character butt, and we see like the full animated.
Yeah, it doesn't cut away
it.
to a reaction or anything.
Right.
Like, you just get to see somebody get pooped out of another animal's bottom.
My god, that's bizarre. But, well, at the end of the episode, though, we see some of his twists regarding the characters. That one of the main character apparently got racing and taking the pictures in order for him to contact to another characters.
The idol girl?
The idol girl, yeah.
He's not actually contacting her, is he? Isn't he just doing it to like feel close to her somehow? He's like fixated on her.
I have no idea. I think he just from what I take, he take the picture in order to send it to one of the girl.
Oh, okay. Is that, I mean, I know that girl continues to pop up throughout the episode because she's like some sort of idol that's involved in news broadcasts. But I can't remember specifically, does she like encourage people to take their selfies and like send them in to the news station, and that's why he does it? I don't know.
I would love to watch the episode again.
Yeah, to be honest, I wanted to watch it a second time before talking about it, but since we're doing just first impressions, I figured a general sense of, how I liked it and what it was about was enough.
Yep. And also we got the cops.
Yeah, at the very end. Well, they showed up midway through the episode, just briefly, but at the very end in the post-credit scene, that was actually the most bizarre part of the episode for me, because it stood on its own and I couldn't even like tell what it was supposed to represent or what was going on. There was a giant taiko drum. That's all I remember. It was weird.
Yep. Nice.
That post-credit scene for me, that was a little bit too Ikuhara. Like, it didn't feel
too much.
Yeah, like, I love the guy, or I don't love him. I think he's a cool dude. But sometimes things feel a little bit too disconnected. Like, because he tries to juggle a lot of characters and ideas in his stories, and sometimes part of the story or one of the characters or a set of characters will feel like extra. And I'm worried that if the policemen aren't like integrated into the main story rather soon, within like 2 or 3 more episodes, let's say, then they'll just feel extraneous for the entire thing.
Well, one thing that I can take from his works is that they're always like the extra character, which are supposed to be the judge. Remember, like in so you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, in Utena, it's the girls who do the shadow play on the wall.
Right.
In Yuri Kuma, there literally is a judge character who there are trials. And then in Penguin Drum, I can't remember who the judge is. I guess the girl, when she puts on the penguin hat, is kind of functioning as a judge, right?
Right. So I think like this cop work at the church as well. That's what I think right now. So basically, they are the not the bystander. They are the one who oversees and the situations.
Oh, so I just realized who sorry.
Directly involved. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just realized who the judge is in Penguin Drum. It's the guy who says, "Isn't it electrifying?"
Oh, is it?
Do you know who I'm talking about? The guy who says like "shibireru dane" or whatever the phrase is in Japanese.
Shilalala or something. Yeah. All right.
There's one of those. There's one of those. The judge has like in Yuri Kuma has a catchphrase like that, but in Penguin Drum specifically, he says, "Isn't it electrifying?" That's his catchphrase. And it's really difficult for me to like. Penguin Drum was such a mess, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I do like the series, but it's a mess. Like, when you're trying to recall specific information about it, having watched it years prior, like, you really can't do it. Like, maybe certain scenes, certain moments,
right?
But not the entire thing. Anyway, I
One of
remembered
the
who the judge is, and yes, you're right. There's always a judge character. So the cops in Sarazanmai are probably that.
yeah, and there's one thing about his style is that he always have a flashback, and as the story goes on, the flashback keep expanding into like another twist and turn. I I just see that it happened a lot in his series.
I watched Utena somewhat recently, and I don't
Yep.
remember that being the case. Is it the case?
Yeah, I think that was the case when Utena was young.
Oh
Well,
yes. Oh,
I
of
remember.
course. Yes, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah, the prince. She remembers more and
Mm-hmm.
more about like the prince giving her the ring.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, of course. Yeah,
So
and that's
yep.
definitely the case in Penguin Drum as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
his
I
he
go
definitely
on.
has his favorite themes and motifs.
Oh my god, that yes, that's a yes. And yeah, I just think that's with Ikuhara there will be a lot of twists and turns, and maybe and not straightforward at all. So maybe that's one of the reasons why that we have a hard time recall, like the specific scene or like what the meaning of these things. And I don't think we should we need to think about what the meaning of anything that he put, because
Well, you can. I think there's usually a meaning to be grasped if you're looking
right,
for it.
well,
But more than anything, I think Ikuhara is about like his series are about spectacularity. Um, just
the
like
visual,
yeah, well, the visual and also just the gigantic hodgepodge of ideas and information that he crams into every episode. So the visuals
yeah.
definitely inform that, but the like his series are very they seem to be high-minded on some level. Um,
Hmm.
so it's just like you can just sit back and like soak it all in and just be like, ah, yes, just bask in the weirdness and the mystery of what's going on. Um, and it works perfectly fine that way. I think
Yep.
there's an overlap between how much of a spectacle it is and how quote unquote, deep or meaningful it could be. I think a lot of people look too hard for that meaning, and they
Right.
distract themselves from the other admirable qualities that his work has.
Yep. Yep. That's right. And yep. So this is number one
Yeah, same
right
here.
now. So the four show that we're gonna plot in the next season is gonna be this show Sarah Zamite by Ikuhara, Carol and Tuesday by Shinichiro Watanabe, Mix, and Fruit Basket.
Yes, those were my top
And
four.
next, yep,
Feels good,
all
man.
right, that's that's from my top five. So yeah,
Perfect.
um, so next week we're gonna do the new classic shows as well. We're gonna do the 4 episode of Future Boy Conan.
Right, right, right. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yep. And yep, you have any like closing thought on the season so far, on the first impression period,
And
or
not
anything?
not really. No. I mean, we've been going for a while now.
Yep. So yep, we will see you guys next week and the week after that.
And then we're going to take the month of
Before
May
we
off, right?
Yep, before we're gonna take a month off, but that's for the that for that for the time to come. So enjoy the week, and we will see you in this time next week.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
All right, thanks.